there's piece 1, there's piece 2, and there's piece 3. So now we have 3 sections to put together. Now the nice thing about paper piecing is because you have the paper, you have pinpoints. So piece 1, subunit, well, this was subunit 3, so piece 1 and piece 2 are going to go together. So piece 2 and piece 1, they don't have any really seams that have to match up. So what you do for corners is I take a pin and I stick it through this corner, and I make sure that it lines up with this corner on the back, and this gives you a more accurate lining up. And you always make sure that your corners are right on, and then you take another pin and you pin it. So now you go down here and you stick your pin through this corner, and you make sure that it pins on that side. You can't just put them together and sew them. This one it really wouldn't matter, but when you get a lot of pieces and a lot of intersections, you want to make sure that you're accurate. So now I'm going to take a pin, and I'm going to pin through this sew line, and I want to make sure that it's lined up with that sew line, and I'm going to pin it. Now you're going to sew this line, and you're going to start on this end, and you're going to go all the way down to the other end. So I started on the end, sewed all the way down to the other end, and then I flip it open. And I check it and make sure that that's the way I wanted it to look. And since I didn't have any other points that needed to be matched up, that's the way I wanted it to look. So what I do is I go through and I pull the paper off of this seam, because I always prefer to press all of my seams between the sections open, and if I do that, I can't get this paper out later. So I always take this paper off, and then I press that seam open. And when you're joining other units, if you had multiple pieces, ironing it open just gives you one less layer that you have to sew through. So there's my first 2 pieces. My next piece, and I want these 2 pieces to come together, these 2 points to come together. So with paper piecing they should do that. So now I'm going to line these up, and I'm going to do my 2 end corners, and again I'm going to poke it through. That didn't go through, and you want to go straight through, not at an angle. I'm going to poke it through, and oh, I'm not there. I'm a little bit off. So I finagle it a little bit, work it down a little bit, and I put it back through. That's not where it needs to be. One more time. See if we can get it where it needs to be. Okay, there we go. That pokes through exactly where it needs to be. So I'm going to pin that. And you never take this pin and do this because you shift everything around. You always use a second pin. Now let's try this end. And that's that on. So now I wanted these 2 intersections to come together. So this is my sew line. So I'm going to take my pin and I'm going to stick it through exactly on that seam where it intersects where I'm going to sew. I stick that through, and that should intersect exactly where that seam and intersection is on that side, and that matches up beautifully. So I'm just going to stick another pin in there because I want it to stay there. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to go through where my seam and my intersection are, and it should hit that seam and that intersection just perfect, which is why paper piecing is so nice. Alright, now I'm going to sew one end to the other. I take my pins out, and I'm going to open it up, and look at how beautiful that matches. Almost perfect. Almost. I'm going to take my paper off. And now I'm going to press that open. I'm going to flip it open. And voila, there is my bird bath. Now the pattern calls for a piece on the top and a piece on the bottom to get it to be 9.5 inches, which is what it was supposed to be. If you would like this pattern to do along with the video, you can drop us an email at customquiltsinc@live.com and we'll get one out to you in the mail.